Okay, guys, we're starting in just a moment. Give you 1 second. I'm going to go grab something and then we will be starting soon. You can just look at the last drawing I finished, which was the Samson doodle. Definitely not a doodle. Okay, Garzo, welcome. Randy, welcome. Thanks. I think it turned out pretty good too. Not too bad. Sorry. Okay. I don't know what my Pinterest thing. Oh, there it is. I had this image I wanted to reference. But I think what we're just going to do is doodle a little bit today. The Noah idea, get the vibe. What's up, Brazzy? Welcome. How are you guys doing? How's your week starting off? I'm going to work with the Prisma brush today. I'm going to see how that's going to work. Just kind of feel like roughly sketching. So the theme is Noah. This guy who lived extremely long, built a gigantic boat that is pretty much impossible. I mean, for the amount of years, it might be possible. Maybe that's why they extended his life and it just dwindled out throughout the generations. But yeah, if you don't know who he is, he's from the Bible. He's in Genesis. Okay, sorry. So it's chapters like 6 through 9. You got Noah, and pretty much God sees that the world is terrible, it's awful, he screwed up. I mean, he seems to not know what he's doing, and he's like, I'm gonna flood this thing. You know, but Noah and his families, they're cool. You guys get on a boat. Actually, you know what? All the animals, they're cool too. Take all them with you. Let's get rid of all those bad humans, which is pretty much, let's say, 99.9%, except for you, Noah, obviously, and the family. And he wipes them all out. Yet, when Noah and the family get off, there are people and tribes and even Nephilim and things that still remain. So, obviously not everybody died. And obviously the animals could survive some other way than just being on this boat. So what was the purpose of having them say 2 by 2 on the boat, and no one's going to survive, kind of thing? Yet we see that, life goes on, and not all animals could have made it on a boat. Doesn't make any sense. 40 days, they got to eat, they got to poop. Who's going to maintain it? You have only 8 people or something on that boat, something like that. Yeah, it's not possible. So, of course, this is a tall tale folklore story that's also depicted in the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia and other stories throughout the world. So, flood narrative makes sense. We're gonna draw on Noah. We're gonna get Noah out. We're gonna doodle him out. I'm gonna get feel him out. Who do I want him to be? A sadistic madman that hinges of terror. I like that. I like that a lot. Someone who's kind of a madman, Noah. Because what do we really know about Noah? Let's see what we really know. How come I don't have a Bible with me when I read? I only got tons of Bibles and none of them are near me. Amazing. Okay, whatever. My phone app. Noah. Let's see. Genesis 2. Genesis 6, right? Yeah. Okay. Ooh, this is fun. The Nephilim were on the earth. That's cool. So we got these giants. There's lots of wickedness. And then... Yeah. He found Noah, found favor in the sight of the Lord. Okay. I guess he's just a good man. And then he gives them all these instructions to make a 50 height of 30 cubits, width of 50 cubits, and the ark be 300 cubits long. Make a roof, all kinds of stuff. But we don't really know what Noah's about. So I'm just going to interpret my own views of what Noah would be like if he was... How old is Noah? He's probably started off... He had to start pretty early, probably 80 years old, until he got to a couple hundred years old. I don't know, it says what 600th year in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, that day of the fountains of the great deeps burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened, and the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And the same day Noah, with his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons entered the ark. They and every wild animal of every kind, all domestic animals of every kind, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So here's the clue right there. If you didn't catch it, here's my theory. Now, okay, might be blasphemy, but it's my theory. When they came to the story, I imagine that because at that point Noah didn't know that water would come from the sky, and they're used to the water coming from the earth, which, if you think about it, back then it was mainly they lived by rivers, and the Nile was a big one, and whenever the floods would come in, they would flood the whole earth from the river. So it would just it would feel like a flood. And quite possibly, this was just a really big one, a tsunami, an event of some sort, right? But the boat, it just said right there, it says, every wild animal, they and every wild animal of every kind, and all domestic animals, right? I think what it's saying is it's trying to pretend to say that it's a lot of animals, but I think it's just all the farm animals. I feel like this would be a farm, and Noah and his family would get on this boat and protect themselves from this village or this town of being flooded or whatever, instead of this huge, whole world thing. I mean, of course, I can be proven wrong quite easily through some of the passages in here that they meant a whole world flood. But mainly because they ended up on a mountain. But I'm thinking it was just exaggerated over time and created into something larger. just because of other cultures having this tale, it would seem like maybe that town could be flooded, but the whole world at once would be ridiculous. Anyways, tell me your thoughts. What do you think is the actual big Noah story, or the Gilgamesh story of the flood? Do you think which one makes more sense? Do you think it actually did happen? Do you think it's some tall tale? But what's the purpose of this tale? Like, really? Anyways, let's see what Noah's got, and stop talking. I need a base for a face. Old man face. Old man face. Any, mini, money, doesn't matter. Like that. That's like a Robin Williams Popeye look. I like that. Okay, guys. There you go. Was Noah a good guy is the question. The Bible tells us that, I mean, the story represents him as a good guy. So if he's not real, then we can say he was a good guy. But if he was a real person, it makes you wonder. Okay. See how epic hero does. Garza says how epic hero he does a fine job in imagining the complex family dynamics aboard the ship. Make like village aside workers getting lumber, and his reaching his hands to sky as he prays. Arms open up. Okay, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. What did you think of the Russell Crowe Noah movie? It didn't follow the Bible much. Um, well, Randy, I thought I liked it. I liked it mainly because it was imaginative. It showed the Nephilim as these rock creatures, which I didn't actually like the rock creatures, but the fact that he showed them, I was very intrigued with the freedom he gave himself to be imaginative with the work and then create all these like narratives that didn't really exist, but he's pulling from other texts. He's not using just Genesis, he's not using just the Christian text, he's using the Enoch and all these other books that are part of the biblical accounts. So that's why probably a lot of Christians and people who just read the Bible don't know about it, because they're like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. But I mean, he's pulling from a huge source outside of it, which is what I liked. So I thought that was good. Now, is it biblical? I mean, what is biblical, honestly? A lot of this stuff is highly interpretive at this point, now that we're learning so much more about the stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I guess this is one of those subjective Christian movies, because like this new movie Mary just came out, and it's got a lot of hate by Christians, it seems like, because every Christian person I know doesn't seem to like it. But I thought it was actually kind of fun. It didn't really have anything to do with Mary's story, which was kind of weird. It was just more about her dealing with this angel and Joseph. It's really weird. It's really weird. I don't know what to think of the actual movie, but it still is good enough to say it was fun to watch. It wasn't that bad, but the Christians, I think there's a lot of because you have to fit into a narrative that is being taught, and it's really hard. It's really hard to make good content for that religion. I wonder if Islam or Buddhism have that similar issue in their religion, that their content isn't really like, it's not easy to make it for, because you'd have people so like very particular to how like Buddha may have been portrayed, and Siddhartha, and the religion and the missionaries and all these people, not missionaries, monks and stuff that maybe have died for the religion or whatever. It's like you've got to portray this whole entire ecosystem to the people who still serve the religion. So I don't know. The Chosen. Have you ever watched The Chosen? It's a show made by a Christian director, a TV show, and it's probably the best thing that I think the religion has for them, because it's not only pretty historically accurate and presenting like like the outfits and everything like that, and the way things were. Of course, it makes Christ do all these miracles and things, but like other than that, it's fantastic. It's called The Chosen, so definitely give it a watch if you like that kind of stuff. I like Passion of the Christ, blood and gore. Bible is all about blood and gore. That's what I like, in war. Yeah, it's all over the web now. The Chosen series is really getting real popular because it's just done so well. Like the guy, he's really crushing it, and he's made a feature film now. He's making good Christian content, which growing up, that was a hard thing to find, except for McGee and Me. I like McGee and Me, but I don't know. Like, okay, so that's I hate myself for saying this, but growing up, I was trying to learn, because I wasn't allowed to draw anything unless it was in the Christian sphere of things. But it was really hard to find Christian artists that I respected, or I thought were talented enough that I cared about. And that's mean. But I was a kid and I was growing up, and I just there wasn't anything really out there. Maybe there was talented Christian artists, no doubt, but not in the world of like comic books or any kind of anything. So when you did have it, it was like, oh, okay. Because I think it was just people who are passionate about something producing this stuff, and then you can't really blame them for not being artists, like. But I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a higher class, and then this guy who's doing The Chosen, he's really bringing high class to where it's needed. Like Passion of the Christ, when it came out, it was like, that's high class. That thing was solid. Yeah, I think the Bible in some kind of illustrative format, but so I have some of the Christian Bible stuff. I don't like it. Actually, two parts of me. I'm happy for the artist being able to work on something like this. I'm happy for them being creatively, undergoing even what they did go with the comic book, but can I say that when you read a comic book, you don't have any attachment to it other than you love the characters and you know it's not real. When you read the Bible, you are forced by the fact that you are accepting this religious theology of your afterlife, which you construct your entire moral system based off of, and from then on out, it is not like a comic book. It should not be taken like a comic book. The illustrations should be very serious. It should not be glamorized overly, unless the message is still being told, right? Here's an example. The story of Ehud. We've been on the channel. We've talked about it. Ehud, the assassin. The moral of the story really isn't there. We don't really know what the moral of the story is. This guy just assassinates this dude while he's trying to sleep with him. The king, Eglon, right? When he gets away, starts a war, has freedom. Why is that in the Bible? Right? You don't see Christians really preaching on it because it's not useful with the whole Jesus narrative and all that jazz. But the Old Testament. But if we leave out those really specific stories and the gruesome way that they're being told, and even the bluntness, how they don't even have a moral to them, we leave those out and we don't tell them correctly, I feel like we're constructing a theological faith based off of modern Christian, evangelical, or Catholic Christianity. Does that make sense? But by telling the stories that are raw and gruesome, over physical, you know what I mean? Because the Bible's very rough, it's very raunchy, and a lot of the blood and gore and wars, and actual truth of just the fact that Israel was not this like good, great people. They were killing and destroying tribes and people for just in the name of God, not any real logical reason. Some would say, oh, they were being oppressed, but in the same way they would do that to the other people. The Israelites are a very complex people, in culture, but they weren't all good, and because of the religion, it makes it seem like they're all good. But it's history has different ways of telling the truth and revealing it, and I think it's important because otherwise the faith can be led by theology too much, and which can lead to dark roads of the faith going down to really, really, really bad things. So when you illustrate it, a person sees illustration and they remember it pretty fast because we're visual, creatures. Most of us are. So the reason why I want to undergo it myself and create a whole thing for it is because I don't really trust anybody to do it anymore. I've been waiting my whole life for others to create it, and I think it's time for Josh to at least give an attempt at it. I've always seen Noah as a like kind of like a like kind of looks like a guy on the off the streets. You know what I mean? Like, not I wouldn't even say homeless. I want to say like, you remember the movie Hook with Robin Williams? Um, like when Robin Williams gets captured, it goes back into Peter Pan. I mean the Never Never Land, and the kids have him all like he just looks messed up in his clothes. His suspenders are all pulled off. He's got paint and food and crap all over him. He just looks wild. And then, yeah, kind of imagine him look like that. Or the other character, Smee. Is it Shmee? Kind of like him. Maybe a mixture of both. Who knows? But yeah, always found him just kind of have that kind of look like that. Like he's kind of disheveled look. I don't know if I saw it in a movie or something. Maybe I'm not even reading the text right, because I don't think there's anything in the text that really says that he would. Is there? Is there anything that says what he would look like? Like his wife says that he looks horrid, he smells bad or something. Let's see. Noah, righteous man, blameless in generations, blah blah blah. His kids, earth was corrupt, blah blah blah. We all know. His instructions about how to build the ark and all the 3 decks. It's 3 decks. That thing's huge. I don't know what, like, so they go in the specifics of building the Noah's Ark in the Bible, but I don't understand the purpose of that. Like, maybe there is a religious purpose for the 3 decks, the height and numbers, but I don't know. I wonder if it started out that way or if it was added on throughout the oral tradition. Man. So I don't know how he collected all the. I mean, I guess the birds just flew to him. I don't know. I guess this was an enormous boat. That's ridiculous. He doesn't realize that tigers are not going to eat fruit. They're going to eat another animal. So you need other animals on top of those 2 animals. Oh my god. Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says he was 600 years old when the floods came. So he had been building for some time and collecting animals for a long time. I guess. I guess 600 years. I guess you can do it. The water swelled so mightily on the earth that all the high mountains under the whole heaven were covered. Okay, so I guess it does, I guess it says the water swelled above the mountains. I suppose in that case, they do mean the whole earth was covered. But like I said, I believe in my heart that this was a story that started off as like a farm that kind of you needed help and got flooded and saved his farm animals, and it just grew up to be this big gigantic story about God and Noah or whatever. But I can't prove that one. That's just my own theory off of how I think of humans. It says, all flesh died that moved on earth, birds, domestic animals, wild animals, all swarming creatures that swarm the earth, and all human beings, and everything on dry land, and those whose nostrils was the breath of life died. He blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground, human beings and animals and creeping things of the air, birds of the air. They were blotted out from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those who were with him on the ark. So the water swelled on the earth for 150 days. So he was in the boat for 150 days. Him and they killed everything else on earth. So that's where that's where the Bible's contradictory. Okay, can't ignore it. Can't ignore it. I don't care if you're a believer or not. How could you kill everything underneath and then all of a sudden they get off and they go have villages and the Nephilim are still around and. Because you have Goliath, considered a descendant. So, contradictory, an error. But you probably have the Israelites back in the day when they're telling these stories. They probably didn't care about error because error was not part of something that was bad to them. Because they're trying to teach lessons. They're trying to build a culture. They're not trying to prove all this stuff. We bring it up because all these religious rules and laws that are applied. We separate religion and state. They probably didn't separate religion and state back then because they didn't have anything different. Just all religion, and that was a state. So there's a lot to put into that, but sorry, I got into shading this and realizing I messed up on his eyes, and it distracted me. Darn it. Okay. So I want Noah to be a little bit more of a wild guy. Okay, I gotta figure out what to do with his hands. I don't know what I was gonna do. I was gonna have him like building something, but I don't really. John, hello, welcome. How are things? What's new we drawn? What new we drawing? We're drawing Noah. Noah, the guy who saved humanity, pretty much. You know, by getting all these animals on a boat that he built. Took him like 600 years, but he did it. He did it. He's got short little stubby arms. Oops. You know, I'm still learning how to draw wrinkles on clothes too, Randy. The trick that I try to do is I stick to an area and I go outwards from every crease. So like the armpit is all the darks go from the armpit, all the darks are behind the face, all the darks are behind, you know. Like stick to the normal dark areas and then go outwards and then don't do too much. I'm learning to do less. And I think less is better. Like right here, I imagine the light source is coming down this way. So I want to do a little bit of shadow, but I don't want to go overboard because I don't know how far I'm going to go. But I do know that back here, there's most likely going to be all this black. And then I can just kind of cut it there. And like for like this thing right here, I'm just doing this black spot right here. I have no idea what it's doing. I'm just making it up. I don't know. I'm just trying to follow this line and see if I can create something. And if it works or not, I'll stick. If not, I'll just cover it up. I'll figure it as I go. Kind of the art of using ink is to learn to listen to the ink, I guess you would say. Is like, what is it telling you to do? Where is it telling you to go? And it works out usually. Well, a lot of training, but you know, it's not so bad. And you also have to remember everything in 3D objects, like, you know, like this cloth that's on his head, it's going to obviously be hanging up off, like there's going to be some shadow from it touching the cloth underneath it. Or maybe it won't, but by building the shadow, at least it gives some kind of notice that it's there, and it's a 3D object. Yeah, this guy definitely wants to sell you Bitcoin, Frozzy. Okay, I just realized I didn't had two mics on. You made a rope ladder going into the pit. What are you talking about? Sounds scary but cool at the same time. You see, I just came in here and just started changing, blocking in this, destroying all my work. Just because I wanted to see what else I could do. And I felt like it looks better anyways. Okay, he's looking pretty good so far. He's got a weird looking head thing going on here, but let me fix that. Oh, I didn't really fix it very well. A little bit better. I have him shaving some wood off of his lumber. I doubt that he would have done that because I don't think he would have had the tools. I mean, I guess he would have had some tools if the mythology of iron and steel, whatever, I mean, not steel, but iron and metal work being used back in those days was a thing. Okay. This one is a Prisma B. This conforms to ASTM D4236. Is that what you're saying? SB58C by Japan material. It doesn't say that on here. No, sir. It's just Prisma brush. I never use it, just figure I'd use it. Okay, that's going to take forever to color in, so I'm just going to skip over to my trusty blue Pentel Japanese brush pen. Different black, but it'll help me color all this in quicker. Such a nice black. The Prisma has a blue tone to it, so I don't really like it. I was just using it because I figured, you know, I don't want to let it go waste and dry out or something. So I was just going to use it today and see what's up. And it's been working really well. How different that is. Goodness. Super different. Okay. Doesn't bleed through. Quite amazing. I'm just going to go with the Molotov pen and start detailing in some stuff. This is a 4, a little bit thicker. It's too thick. Let's go to the 1. So I want to lower his eye here a little bit. I feel like it's awkward, it's weird. His face is just all kinds of all over the place. Stretching too far on this side, squished up on this side. So to fix that, I'm going to pull his eye down a little bit and move his chin up a little bit by kind of just like working in some extra details. So I would come down here and then lower his eye here. Bring his eye to this level. So I just can't drop his eye low enough without darkening and everything. So I have to fix this another way. Oh, nice to have you and Emily watching. Appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill in the rest of the black. And this will let me know where I need to start and stop. I'm going to just kill out his eye. He's going eyeless. Bring this up a little bit. The nose. The mustache. John. Oh, how is California? California's fine. um, it's I mean, other than the fires destroyed half of LA. I mean, not half of LA, just the Palisades and some other areas. Sad things that people's lives were lost. That was unfortunate. I find that very uncool. They didn't have to die for these things. I find it very unfortunate also that there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on about with the insurance companies and the water reserves and all this kind of stuff. But in kindness to those who've lost so much, it's not my place to say anything, so I'm not going to. But just know that these people were not all rich and famous and probably weren't even bad people that lost these things. There's a lot of videos and stuff going around of like people saying that they deserve this because of the day before the Grammys. There was a joke about God not being part of the votes or the talk, and then they're like, "Oh God, you bringing hellfire upon LA," and a lot of stupid crap. I just want to tell them, hey, that doesn't make any logical sense because with all the other tragedies that happen to your locations or other locations that are good and holy places, then I would say that, what's your excuse for that, right? But it's one of those things that people are talking about, don't like it. LA is a very resilient city. Like they've gone through a lot, more than a lot of states and cities in the United States. Like you got to remember, they had the LA riots. They have had fires and mini gang wars and all kinds of stuff. LA's pretty crazy. Once I get his face done, I'll go in and put the eyes in. My parents sent me photos from Texas today, Houston at that. Houston is like by the Gulf, which is warm and humid and gross, but it was snow, 3 inches of snow all over everybody's houses and the floor, which is crazy because that's got to be some record. I don't think I've ever seen it that heavy. I've seen it snow in Texas, it's happened, but that's a lot. It's a lot, especially where she's at. Where they're at, that's usually doesn't happen because it's so warm there. It's so swampy. But that sucks. That sucks. It's cold. Today, actually, in here, it was a low of 60 degrees, maybe. Yeah. I had a jacket on. Yeah. But that's the price you pay being California, right? Instead of having freezing temperatures, we have blazing fires and heat and weather changes, earthquakes. Well, let's try to stay warm. Alright, guys. I feel like, oh, hey, Daniel. He had an eye. I took it away from him. I had to fix his eye, and I'm still fixing his eye. Uh, maybe I'll try a pencil. See what's up with this. I was going to try the acrylic marker, but maybe I'll try this. No, didn't do anything. Yuck. Yuck. Okay, I somewhat fixed it. I just need to darken it back in now. So what I'll do is take this here. Okay, that's our sketch for today. That's Noah scraping some wood off of some wood. You know what I'm talking about. This was just a doodle to get my mind out to think of how I want to do Noah. This does not mean this what Noah's going to look like at all. Probably not going to look this rough. Just trying to think of a crazy man who built something for 600 years, you know what I mean? Like, how deranged would he look, and will he be... I mean, if this is like early man stuff and there's metal work, who knows? This could be no different from the look of a Viking, but either way. Off to bed. Hey, get some rest and stay warm, John. Don't freeze to death out there. That's some cold stuff. But, you know, if you like Calvin and Hobbes, read Calvin and Hobbes' Snowman stuff. That's the best. You'll laugh for hours at Calvin and Hobbes, the Snowmans. And if you have snow, go make it yourself and maybe take a photograph of it. That'd be awesome. If I lived in snow, I'd be making the most hilarious snowman scenes ever. Probably a little bit raunchy, but you know what? It'd be fun. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. That definitely helped me out. Yeah, I'll be posting a new video soon. I say that all the time. It seems to never come out. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I'm trying my best. But thank y'all for watching. If you're a creative, go create. And